So do you guys remember like a month ago when I made a community post saying that I was going to be doing a second hot takes video and asked you guys for your hot takes? Me neither, because I fucking forgot, and then someone in my comment section reminded me. I'm sorry, my guy, I can't find your comment. And then I told him, yeah man, I'm gonna do it in like the next week, I'll probably put it up. And then I forgot again. So here we are, 1 month later, and the post has gotten 100 comments. And obviously I can't cover all of them. So yeah, let's go. I enjoy 343's Halo games more than Bungie's Halo games, and that's fine. That's your opinion. I completely disagree though. I think Halo 4 is just trying to be like some bad Call of Duty ripoff, and Halo 5 is a bad Titanfall ripoff. Okay, Halo Infinite is pretty cool. Online kinda sucks, but the campaign is pretty cool. But yeah, no, I definitely 100% prefer the original trilogy, I guess. Generations 1 through 3 of Pokemon kind of blow. The old physical/special split, lack of Pokemon and move variety, as well as a ton of bugs and lack of QOL features, make for, in my opinion, a subpar Pokemon experience. The Pokemon franchise peaked in Gen 4. With not only Platinum as the best game in my opinion, but also another banger in Heart Gold Soul Silver. From there, the quality has gradually declined, but I still believe that Gen 5 through 7, haven't played Gen 8, are better than Gen 1 through 3. I agree with you to a certain extent. Also, don't play Gen 8, it's absolutely awful. Personally, I believe Gen 5 is the greatest Pokemon generation. Heart Gold Soul Silver is really good as well, but I don't think that 1 through 3 generation sucks and then Gen 5 through 7 is better or whatever. Pokemon, while it has been declining definitely in the last couple of years, it's a very inconsistent franchise when it comes to quality. Like, for example, Gen 1 kinda sucks, you know, but it's the first game, so whatever. Gen 2 is pretty good, although why would I play Gen 2 when I can play Heart Gold Soul Silver? Gen 3 then is incredibly boring again. Gen 4 is great. Gen 5 is great, Gen 6 is incredibly forgettable and kinda shit, Gen 7 is pretty alright, it's pretty good, and then Gen 8 is god-awful. So it's definitely declining in quality, but it's not exactly consistent in its decline. Also, you talk a lot about like the technical aspects of a Pokemon game. I don't really care about that, I just care about exploring a world and catching Pokemon, so maybe that's why we have different views. Also, for anyone who is interested, if you've also kind of become disappointed in the Pokemon franchise like I have, I'm playing Kuromon in the background of this video. It's really good, check it out. It's morally okay to emulate or pirate Nintendo games. I think it's morally okay to emulate any game that you can no longer purchase on modern day hardware. If you cannot legally download your game on your PC, or if you cannot get the game that you want on your modern day like console or whatever, I think it's okay to emulate. I do not, however, think it's okay to pirate games that you can legally buy, like for example Breath of the Wild, just because you don't like Nintendo as a company. Because at that point it's just like, oh, I don't like this company's business practices, therefore it's okay to steal from them. Like Shell, for example, is a very shitty oil company. Doesn't make it okay to rob gas stations. But yeah, no, for the most part, emulating Nintendo games is perfectly fine. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is the greatest Legend of Zelda game and is better than Breath of the Wild. That is a hot take, mainly because we're talking about the Zelda franchise, where every single fan has their own favorite game which they will defend with their life like it's the most important thing in the world. But for me, I really see Zelda as like kind of two franchises, or two separate like game types. Obviously, you know, you have the third person like 3D games and like the top down more 2D games, which I guess I prefer, because I'd say that something like A Link to the Past is better than most 3D Zelda games. But yeah, no, something I really appreciate in Zelda games is story, which Breath of the Wild really disappointed me with, because the story in that game is just non-existent, and if it is there, it's very boring. And I also prefer just the gameplay in older 3D Zelda games over Breath of the Wild. Again, I really like Breath of the Wild, I just don't really like it as a Zelda game, I guess. But yeah, seeing as I care a lot about story, I'd say that Majora's Mask probably is better than Twilight Princess, just because I think the concepts in that game are a lot more interesting. Gen 5 is the best Pokemon generation despite having the second worst group of starters in any Pokemon gen. Get the fuck out of here. How dare you insult my boy Oshawott, my guy. Like, I agree Gen 5 is the best Pokemon generation, but how dare you compare the I'm getting actually kind of mad that someone doesn't like the same starters I do. Hey man, it's all good, but like, how the fuck can you compare the starters of Gen 5 and say that they're almost as bad as like the Gen 8 starters? I'm not sure if that's what you mean by the worst group of starters in Pokemon, but I'm guessing that's what you mean. Because Gen 8 in general can just be described as fucking awful. Bro, how dare you call Breath of the Wild a Skyrim clone? Okay, like Breath of the Wild is like Skyrim if Skyrim was interesting and had a fun world to explore. Like, I think Skyrim is so incredibly overrated, and I'm thinking about making a video about how overrated and kind of shit Skyrim is, you know? But yeah, no, I don't agree. It's not really a Skyrim clone. If anything, it was just heavily inspired by games like Skyrim that have just really big, interesting open worlds, although I wouldn't say that Skyrim has an interesting open world. But yeah, I agree, it doesn't really resemble a Zelda game. Now obviously it's important for like your franchise to evolve with time, but personally I also prefer the older 3D Zelda game, you know, playstyle. I prefer old school turn-based JRPGs over those new popular action-based games. Yes, they sell better, but they are awful. Hashtag return the old Final Fantasy. I don't fucking know. I've never played an action JRPG. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like the new Final Fantasy games, like Kingdom Hearts, those type of games. I've never played any of them. Old school JRPGs though, with turn-based combat, I fucking love those. So I guess I agree with you, but I don't know if the new Final Fantasy games are awful. I haven't played them, I'm sorry. Gaming gets boring as you grow older. Now I think that's just everything, and like everything just gets more boring as you grow older. Also, I think that especially now, since gaming is becoming more and more of a like lucrative entertainment industry, and it's rapidly growing still every day. A lot of companies are just making shitty cash grab games or like free to play games with fuck tons of microtransactions just so they can milk the most amount of money they can out of this industry. That was wow. I can speak really well, guys. I don't stutter ever. But no, I think that if you just have a big problem with the video game industry and with AAA games, I'd advise you to just start playing like indie games. Like for example, I got really bored of Pokemon, and I just started, as you can see in the background of this video, I'm now playing a game called Kuramon, which is obviously heavily inspired by Pokemon, but it's just so much more fun, and I think it's the most fun I've had playing a video game in quite a long time, actually. The Wii U was a great console. No, it wasn't. I'm sorry, it was a flawed idea from the very beginning, and it flopped. It just wasn't very good. It was basically like, what if we built a fucking Nintendo DS but for your TV, and we call it the Wii U so no one will know what the fuck it is? Great idea. And then we're gonna complain that we have no third-party games on our console because it's so fucking weird. Nobody knows what to do with the extra second screen. Duke Nukem Forever isn't that bad of a game. I mean, it's a pretty shitty Duke Nukem game, and the fact that it took like, what, 14 years to make? The game was in development for 14 years because the director of the game kept implementing new ideas into the game that he got from playing other games. So if, like, Duke Nukem Forever had only 2 weapon slots, because in Call of Duty and Halo you only have 2 weapon slots. Even though in most, you know, it's a Duke Nukem game, so you're supposed to be able to have access to all these kinds of cool weapons all at the same time like in Doom, but fuck that. 2 weapon slots. I think people were just really disappointed with the game because it's a very bad Duke Nukem game, and it came out after being, you know, constantly teased for 14 fucking years. Or 12, I don't remember. Either one. Anyway, boys, I feel like that's the end of this video. I might do another one. I really like doing this. I just need to remember to actually do them instead of forgetting. But yeah, no, if you like this video, you know, please like and subscribe, all that shit. And let me know if you want another one of these type of videos. Yeah. Goodbye.